So Mirshad,
Yeah,
I think I first saw you probably maybe somewhere in 2002 or 2003.
you were like one of our first fans.
Yes,
Remember,
I was
like
one
when we
of the person.
started out, we used to, yeah, when we used to play like in like I remember there was a concert, right? We played with a lot of pop artists at the time. It was a Sun, if one of these radio stations did that, and you were the only guy in front. Like you had come with your cousin, I think. And we played.
No, that was my brother actually. Yeah.
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 And we were a bit too drunk and we played a bit too fast. Good times.
Yeah, and I remember. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have a special guest today all the way from Sri Lanka. I have Mirshad Buckman of Paranoid Earthling. Hi Mirshad.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I've been good too, very preoccupied with stuff.
Mm.
So the whole COVID-19 story gave a good time to sit back and replan all the future endeavors. So it's been okay. It's been a quiet, slow time. Business-wise, it's been like really slow and bad actually, but it's fine. It's a good time to think, good time to plan, good time to read.
Is this COVID situation giving you any inspiration for new songs and stuff?
It's actually given me time to experiment with new devices.
Right.
I've been playing a lot with synthesizers and stuff now, on the software thing. And been writing some new music as well. Yeah, like inspiring time.
Right. Because chaos brings inspiration, right?
Chaos is now going against the order. The middle line is gone, but it should come towards the middle.
So Mirshad, I think I first saw you probably maybe somewhere in 2002 or 2003.
You were like one of our first fans.
Yes,
remember,
I was
like when we started out, we used to, when we used to play like in I remember there was a concert, right? We played with a lot of pop artists at the time. It was a Sun, if one of these radio stations did that, and you were the only guy in front. Like you had come with your cousin, I think. We played.
No, that was my brother actually. Yeah.
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 And we were a bit too drunk and we played a bit too fast. Good times.
Yeah, and I remember actually visiting you in Kandy for the Kandy show, going to your place. Do you still live in the same place, or you are in different place now?
Now I'm in. I moved to Colombo. That was in 2005, and I've been here ever since. So now I live close to a place called Malabe.
Right.
It was near Battaramulla, like in the suburbs.
Right.
Then I go home to my house in Kandy, and I sometimes go up and down.
So,
but the last few months I was stuck here. I was pretty much here during the quarantine, and yeah.
So Mirshad, I remember meeting your mom. So how's your mom?
She's good. she's an artist, right? Like so, she's been painting and like doing all sorts of collages and all that stuff. So this meeting would have been at our place in Kandy. You could have seen the whole setup there. It's a house full of paintings and books, and
Yeah, I remember your mom was like even going to your show, right? To see you perform, and she's very supportive of your music.
Yeah, she hardly has missed any shows. Like there have been like a couple, but other than that, she goes for a lot of the concerts, and actually more than me, she's more in touch with the younger bands, and like sometimes I would miss gigs because like sometimes I'm stuck with stuff, and like she doesn't miss every gig here. She goes for almost every concert that happens here.
So Mirshad, tell me a little bit about your growing up childhood and how the music came to you.
Well, how did it go? When I started, actually before I got heavy into like rock music, I was heavy into the whole hip hop scene. I mean, like before hip hop got all commercial and stuff. This was like Dre, Tupac, NWA, the early 90s rap music scene. And then at the same time, like my mom used to listen, like she used to play music, like she used to play stuff like even Nirvana's, like what was that song, All Apologies, and like she used to listen to stuff. Like I had my dad's like tape collection and all that all over there. And then from a neighbor, it was pretty interesting seeing. There was a neighbor near our house who used to have like a lot of rock posters, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and there was this one album. Because at the time we used to record from tape to tape, right? So there used to be a record bar in you remember the places called record bars where you have all tapes on a wall and you go and take, I want this recorded from that, I want that recorded. Yeah. So this neighbor near our house had this album called Kill 'Em All. Yeah, Kill 'Em All at the time.
Yeah.
And I had listened to, I was listening to like stuff like from Unforgiven to, there was the Reload album, Metallica. Right. And there was this short span of, there was a time, there was a TV station called TNL TV.
Yes.
If you remember, they started playing music television. Like they had like a 3 or 4 hour segment a day where they'll play MTV, music television. And for some reason, the music television they were showing was showing stuff like Marilyn Manson. There was this top 20 hits thing on Saturday.
Right.
So that was the first time like I kind of saw like all this like, you know, something totally different from what's going on, like, you know. And when we were kids, like basically even like the first the guy who started the band with me, Shankar, our drummer, our ex-drummer now. So in our class, the two were like, that was the time I met him as well. So anyways, cut back to the whole story. There was a lot of like rock music as well going in this. There was Prodigy, there was the Chemical Brothers, and all these videos flashing. I was in the 6th grade or the 7th grade. At the same time, this neighbor near our house had this CD, and he had this player, and I kept bugging him. I told, like, you know, can I just record this? I want to record this Metallica CD onto tape. And he kept saying no. He said, you wouldn't like this kind of stuff. And like, you know, so I pestered him so much that he agreed. And like then, and at the time you hit record, right? And like you had to listen to the whole CD while you record it. And suddenly, you know, hit the lights. The first thing is fast thing, like, was like pretty new for me at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I make a mistake here? Like I was listening to hip hop and stuff, right? So I just let it record anyways. And then I took that home. And what happened to me was, bit by bit, I'm now listening to this more than the hip hop. Right. You know, I'm on the bed, like banging my head and stuff. Then started discovering, reading more. Like there was this place called the 7 Record Bar, as I told you, a record bar in town, and they pretty much had a lot of music in their tape collection.
Right.
And there was actually an owner was this lady. She had a big knowledge on music actually at the time. So, you know, if you like Kill 'Em All, there's this thing called Justice for All, you know, this album, that album. So collected. And like, you know, suddenly all the hip hop tapes became heavy metal tapes. And that's the time I met Shankar, our first drummer. And he only totally got me into like Prodigy, and like he was like heavy into Electronica at the time. Right. The whole rave scene in London.
Yeah.
So we mix up, and like, you know, I share him this, he shares me that. And then suddenly we started listening to music together. And then his elder brother, who was Danushka, our ex-guitarist, and our current bassist, who's been doing our band with me, called Asela. They were 2 batches senior to us. And the 2 of them actually wanted to start an Electronica project called Paranoid Earthling. That was, Asela only gave the name. So bit by bit, we all got together, and then, you know, let's start this band. And, you know, right, fine, we will put the name for this band, and then we started it. And, we've been doing it ever since.
So I know you probably tell this story all the time, that the name of the band is how the name came for the band.
So at the time our bassist gave the name. So Paranoid came from the Radiohead song Paranoid Android. Right. And Earthling was the album by David Bowie. He had a like heavy dance electronic album in the 90s called Earthling.
Right.
Our bassist has his jokes, he connects stuff, and like, you know, and then he had this Paranoid Earthling, yeah.
So once you guys, when you guys joined, like when you formed the band, did you guys were you able to play the instruments or what? So you guys learn, or what happened?
So the start was we didn't have any instruments in the start.
Right.
So during my O-level time, I think the year before the O-levels, the first exam we do in school, like I somehow worked it out from an aunt or someone, got the cash, and I bought this box guitar, like the was called what Gibbs. There's Indian, the Indian Gibson is like called Gibson, not Gibson.
Okay.
So we got this guitar and we made our own drum kit, like out of, I figured out the system, like, with not boxes, you used to get plywood, make a frame and like, take X-ray sheets and stretch the thing, like cowhide for the kick drum. And so we had this home made kit and the acoustic guitar. So now only two members have instruments. So Shankar and me, like Shankar and I at our house, we used to set that up and I used to just jam on the guitar. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was playing, but even tuning and stuff, we didn't know, but we just played and, the whole passion to play and sing and like, recorded like on a tape recorder songs and shit. And that was 1 year. The first year I started touching the guitar, So then you read guitar tabs and, back in the day, net wasn't that big. So there used to be these newspaper vendors on the street who used to sell old magazines and like old magazines and all that stuff. And then there were like Guitar World magazines inside. So those are some of the earlier lessons. I used to take that, and there was one lesson by Dimebag Darrell on how to drop D. So at the time I thought drop D means switch all the strings the other way and put it the other way and like try that. And a year later, I got a gift of my first electric, this Yamaha guitar and a crate amp. And the guitar is still here. I still use it. And so then we had a guitar amp, my guitar, and then we needed a bass. So we borrowed a home. That was also a homemade bass by some band, some guys who were doing some, like a local singer band in near our house.
Right.
Borrowed that, used a hi-fi amplifier for that, and the other guitar was the acoustic guitar. So one guy with the acoustic, I'm with the electric. Then we practice the song the other way. He gets the electric, I use the acoustic, and that's how we practice for gigs. So yeah, then the initial show was at a talent show in Kandy.
Right.
A long time ago. I had the tape; it was missing. And then we made it to Colombo. We applied for TNL on stage. And that was the first time we appeared here in the city. And from there, yeah.
So you guys were always looking forward to do originals, or you were doing covers first, or what?
Originals was the plan. Was the main thing. So at the time, we had this one song called Pull Me Under.
Right.
And we were basically like a very full, we were totally into grunge at the time. So it was Nirvana and our own music. So we played almost a lot of Nirvana songs, man. Because Nirvana songs were fun and they were easy to play, Right. It really got shit going, you moved us and like, that was the scene.
So it's like a Nirvana tribute band, right?
We were like a Nirvana tribute. Even our first song sounds like a Nirvana song. So anyways, now this was the start process, right? The main thing was like, we had to write music and stuff. And then I met Suresh and Tenny of Stigmata.
Right.
And suddenly we met other guys who were just like us with the same drive, the same, same mode. And we got really friendly, man. When I came to Colombo, I used to stay at his place. He comes to Kandy, stays at our place. And we were trying to basically make this network at the time.
Right.
So this is after on stage. We got kicked off the preliminaries because it was the first performance. So Stigs, us, there was another band called Stone Broke, Soul Skinner. And there was a set of guys. We used to have meetings at Suresh's place in Mount Lavinia. Like we need to, all of us need to work together. We'll establish this network where we get sponsors, find pubs and clubs and perform.
Right.
But back in the day, no one ever took our shit seriously, Then you must have heard this gentleman called Mr. Ajit Pereira. He passed away actually.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah.
He came into the picture, right? He had already done this in the 70s, but then he had discovered us and he wanted to do Rock Company again. And I have to tell you, man, it's thanks to him, thanks to that man, that we have this whole scene has become what it was. when you remember, right? Every month there was gigs.
Yes.
So he established Rock Company, which was it was a platform where you play mainly your originals. You come there, you have to play your original music. You could play your covers if you don't have enough tracks, but the main focus was that. Whereas other concerts we got, like say even that Sun FM concert, like I'm saying that radio station, never mind, but back in the day, right? You remember we performed and you were the only guy in front? The organizers were strict on this. Okay, we know you all have originals, but you all have to play some alternate music. You will play Vertical Horizon. That's the kind of thing we used to get from organizers, right?
Right.
You can play a Vertical Horizon song, play this, play that, and we agree. Yeah, we are going to play all that. But once we get on stage, we play our fucking set, man. We played Megadeth also that day. So Mr. Ajit, like I call him Mr. Ajit Pereira, he was the guy who established this thing. Okay. He got in sponsors and they had an advertising agency. So it pushed all our bands, press article after press article. There's a rock band here. We press. And that was that initial wave of rock music, that original music that came out at the time we met. So that really took this thing, which no one took serious. It was it was a very joke or something. Even when I was in school, it was just Shankar and me into rock music. And even our batch, all the other guys, they were, all the kids, and for them it was a bit of a funny thing. These guys,
Right.
they're rock, okay,
Right.
But now look how it has changed, So Ajit Pereira took a serious step in this. Okay, you need to do this. This is how we organize a gig. We need to push your stuff out, and then the gig started. Right, every month we play a gig, and that was one of the best times in my life actually. And we released this compilation of all the bands who were playing in there. There were 10 songs, right? The first compilation. That's when our first track came out.
Yes.
Then this compilation came with the tracks coming out. Suddenly this got even bigger. And then the second compilation, then up to third, and then it stopped because there were, at the time, our main sponsor was we had alcohol and tobacco, which kept the money going, right? For every week, there were deals like every year they would cut a deal for every month, a budget. So we had the money going to run Rock Company. And then after there were government restrictions, after certain decisions were made, and they cut off alcohol. First it was tobacco, that was fine. But next they came for the beer, man. That was fucking stupid. So beer was the main sponsor. That went off, and then the monthly show became every 3 months. And then, but what I say is, basically it did what it had to do. It planted this seed on this tree, and now thanks to that, all these other movements have started. We have the underground metal scene. We have all the bands doing their stuff, and now it's in a better place. And we have another entire big generation down there, new generation of musicians and artists. And we have I'm really happy we have a good original music scene in this country, man. Not just rock, all over.
Yes.
Independent music.
So Mirshad, your earlier songs like Pull Me Under, 69,
Yeah.
and then I also like The Rock and Roll Is My Anarchy.
Yeah.
So what were the inspirations for this song writing?
69, 69 is about 69. The perverted song. Pull Me Under was I don't want to talk about that. Anyways, Rock and Roll Is My Anarchy was basically, when I was young, if you read the lyrics and stuff, it was how it was in Kandy,
Right.
for, guys like us. It was a very conservative town, right? A bit more different than Colombo, but amazing people and stuff. But there was a lot of kids didn't have much freedom at the time.
Right.
Say examples, girls couldn't mingle with guys. It was a very, so that was the scene there. Now I guess now it would have changed because now the kids are more advanced than what we were. So
And,
basically, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you guys had the Pull Me Under video you put it
69.
out. Yeah.
69.
And then you had one of this other video, Bringing Down the Sun, right? Which they put out in Ya TV and all that, right? Can you tell me about that song?
Bringing Down the Sun. Actually, the video, the Ya TV did their version of the video, but the version I wanted to do was a bit more extreme. So they, at the time, it was basically, it's against war, right? So my idea was you have a suicide bomber from the LTT comes to Colombo,
Mm.
Realize, like, my whole plan was the whole view of a bomber coming from the north, the main city, and then he realizes that this is all stupid and he just doesn't explode the bomb. He just doesn't do that. He doesn't complete the mission. That was the idea.
Mm.
So it was basically based on that, because
You
we grew through that shit, right?
yeah. And then I think parallelly at the same time, around same time, remember that Iraj put out a video, J-Town Story, which is like kind of
I
story, right?
think I
It's also
remember.
TV, right? It's like
Actually, RTV wanted to do these. They were trying to do this one video, and Iraj was one, and then somehow, I don't know, the not the owner, the main head at the time, she really took up with our song, because she was also into Jimi Hendrix and stuff. So I think
right. So
she liked
Mirshad,
the.
going to your sound, the earlier Paranoid Earthling sound. So who were the influencers for the sound? Like you were as a frontman, I mean,
Sound wise,
yeah. So you were like
yeah.
following Kurt Cobain, Lane Stanley, or like what were the influencers
So
really?
for me, for performance, I don't know, Marilyn Manson was like my all-time superstar. I was
Right.
totally crazy, but I still am. So Marilyn Manson, Billy Corgan. Then sound-wise, it was very grunge, basically. A lot of
Right.
fuzz. Even now in songs, in certain songs, I use a lot of fuzz, like Big Muff. I stack the pedals as well. So it was the sound was very punk rock, grunge, stoner rock, hard distortion, heavy stuff going. And at the time, Pearl Jam influenced us a lot. And I have to say, even like stuff like Prodigy as well, because our drummer was heavy into like all those the electronica scene and the beats like that and stuff. So that was the initial influences. But now, music, we listen to broader stuff, no? So now the new stuff is, I guess, different, yeah.
So
there's an album coming soon as well. I know the whole thing, everyone's been like, I'm sick of talking about it, but it's all done.
Yeah.
So just working on the release. So it's all complete. Just working on getting the damn thing out now.
Yeah, you guys remember putting this out?
Oh yeah. There was another artwork with that kid older, I think. There was another picture with another older kid. But there was a Photoshop job on this picture of this kid.
Right.
Tenny did the picture. The picture was edited by Tenny. I did the layout.
Right.
Oh, good times.
Yeah, I saw you posted like somebody was trying to get one of these, right? The first.
Yeah, I had 2 copies remaining, and then I just posted it, and like there are 2 guys who wanted it, and like one guy collected, one fan collected it, and I kept it for another fan of ours who wanted it.
Yeah,
Well, there were
actually
1,000 copies of that.
Yeah, I remember the Rock Company days, because me and my brother and some friends, we always we always go from Nigambo all the way, to Colombo, and that was the first time actually for the metal or rock fans. I think that was the only thing that you can do, right? There's no other place actually plays proper rock music.
That
right?
played rock music, no, live.
No other place, right?
Yeah, it was pretty much live rock music. Was the Rock Company gigs, and
Right.
like the but before, at the time, there was Independence Square. They were doing their scene. There was another band called Krebs Cycle.
Yes.
But it was like in a small scale. It was happening. But originally, we had Rock Saturday, right? In the start, Rock Saturday was a DJ. It was before Rock Company and our band started. It was like in the 90s, late 90s. There was a DJ discotheque, kind of like DJs playing only rock music and like the hard stuff, which was never played anywhere else. That was called Rock Saturday. And even our band, we attended 2. We were kids then, right? I remember scraping off the money and like saving up for school, and like 4 of us, the original members of Paranoid Earthling. And actually on a train ride to one of these Rock Saturdays is when we decided that let's start a rock band. Yeah. I had a postcard of one of those old rock Saturdays with Marilyn Manson. Some kids, so I can't find it. I could have shown it now. Maybe
Yeah.
I share it some one day on my network. So it was these DJs that like I remember. You remember, right? In the 90s, you go to some party or some DJ or something. What do they play? The Wenger bus is coming. Everybody was the shit. And
Yeah.
there was this, and then suddenly they'll get to a small rock segment, which would be "It's My Life" by Bon Jovi.
Summer of
Summer
69.
of 69, like a teen spirit, a bit of teen spirit. Then like smack my bitch up. Yeah, what was that? Fire starter or smack my. Anyways, a part of each is little medley, and pocket gets back to the other thing. And like when we were kids, like Shankar, our first drummer, and I, we used to go like in Kandy. There used to be these. They used to call it discs. Disc. You're going to the disc. So we used to dress and we wanted to go and like listen to some loud rock music and headbang, but like nothing. Wait. And only this short 15 minutes was our time to go to the dance floor and like do like 100% of what and then get off. So Rock Saturdays at the time, the DJ Rock Saturdays, that was like, whew, exhilarating, man. Imagine you go for this, wherever you go, even the kids around you, they don't know about Nine Inch Nails, like all like Marilyn Manson and, all bands like this. We come to Colombo and there's this thing called Rock Saturdays that's playing Perfect Drug, playing What Beautiful People and like, a whole set of that. And like we used to like headbang and like we sweating and like t-shirts off. These extreme folk kids from Kandy used to come and like, take over the dance floor. Good times. But now things it's amazing now, man. Fuck, it's a good time now.
Yeah. So, Mirshad, you were able to play open for, I think it was 2009, you were able to open for As I Lay Dying, right, in Colombo?
Yeah, the As I Lay Dying gig. I remember that. That was a good gig. We played without a sound check because the sounds got so delayed.
Right.
And I remember you go on the stage and the organizer tell me, oh, you just need to plug and you need to play. I thought that's not how it works. We need to do some sort of a balance. You were there for the gig.
No, I was already out of the country. But I met As I Lay Dying. I actually met them a couple of times here when they played here. And I asked about Colombo and then they didn't have very positive.
My God, that was a mess. That gig. I think the organizer wanted he overestimated the whole thing, and in the end, it became a bit of a scene. The equipment was held at the customs, and there was a delay. But anyways, they played a good set, man.
Right.
So good one. Nerve Cell played there as well.
Yeah.
So what we did was we just plugged in and played like. I mean, even at Rock Company days, remember, we used to come all the way from Kandy, no sound check. We were not professional at all at the time. You just come in, plug our shit up, turn it loud, and just play. And it was for some reason the damn thing worked.
Right.
But we don't do that now. We take checks and we get prepared and, rehearse. And
Yeah.
But once you tour, you get used to this, I think. And the As I Lay Dying gig was after tour we did. That was the first tour we did in India.
Right.
Or it was the SARC. Anyways, that was that year we did our first ever tour outside the country.
Right.
So we had played about 5-6 shows at the time. And like when you tour, you get seasoned, right? The band builds this chemistry and it's like you can go anywhere and like, basically plug in and you're sounding, better.
Right.
So, yeah.
So where did you play in India? Which shows did you play in India?
The first tour, we played Hard Rock Cafe Delhi. Then there was Khairat Theatre, Bangalore. I don't know if that venue is still there. And then another venue called Turquoise Cottage. It's an old pub in Delhi. I love that place, man. It's like a stable. It's all like posters of stars and like. And then again, we played at the Sark Band Festival. Then we played another festival in Gurgaon. This place called Gurgaon, south of Delhi. Amazing. I love that city. And then Afghanistan, we played in Kabul for another music festival.
Right.
India is fun though.
So how was the fans in India? Were they receptive to a band from Sri Lanka?
Good, man. Yeah. The music worked. It was like every time you meet a new set of people, the new people all the time, and wow, I loved it. Want to play there again. So once I think even the quarantine, we're waiting for all this thing to finish. That's why we even held the release of the album. So everything will come out when we have the chance to get out there with it, you know.
Right. So
Maybe
I
come to
think,
Philippines as well. So.
yeah, sure, for sure.
Yeah, there's a plan. You know, our band will be going everywhere, man, not just India. So there's
Yeah.
a whole thing in the works. So
Yeah, actually, when I heard that you guys went to Afghanistan and play in Kabul,
yeah,
that's the first time I realized actually there's a metal scene in Afghanistan, right? Because when you hear Afghanistan, you feel like it's a war tone, like it's a
exactly. That's CNN's version. You know, that's what the
right,
news tells you. They never tell you the real thing of what's really going on in a country.
right,
You need to actually go there to find out. So yeah, man, there's a band called District Unknown.
right,
There was another band called Kabul Dreams. There was a female hip hop artist. These are all like, and the District Unknown guys, most of them have migrated to the States now. But at the time, now actually after going to Afghanistan, I realized, how well we are treated here,
right.
because their bands get arrested. They get arrested for playing the music because it's demonic, when
Mm,
it's a different scene there. But there's an amazing cool set of artists and people who are really thinking out of the box there, who can't really put their art out. And this festival, this was called Sound Central. It was done it's organized by a guy called Travis Beard, who was also doing this band called White City, another Afghan-based band where it was three expats. You check the music out. So he and his brother, they organized this festival, and they were teaching, like bringing equipment in there, setting up a jam room, like similar to Rock Company, the same concept. He was doing that in Afghanistan.
right.
And he and like his brother, they were pushing music like towards the kids, and like then these bands developed, and like there's basically a rock company in Kabul. That's what happened there. Now I don't know what it's like, but I think the Taliban is back, and there's a lot of conflict, because the time we went there, it was a more peaceful time. Like it was like a bit under control, the city, but still there was risk. There was a bomb blast that happened like 2-3 days before we reached there, and yeah, our parents and all were like very all worried that we went there, but fuck it, man. It was fun. Loved it.
Wasn't your parents worried that when you said you're going to Afghanistan?
My mom was actually, I don't have my dad, but yeah, yeah, she was like, what? And like, yeah, people were, but we did it. It was actually our manager who hooked it up at the time, Ruanti. You would have met her. She used to manage a band.
Right.
She coordinated the whole thing, and she only asked, "Hey, you guys want to play in Afghanistan? Shall we go play there?" And like, and we couldn't go through Dubai. We had to go through India. So
Right.
on the way, we went to India. We played a gig in India actually on the way, and
Right.
flew straight there. But good. Everything's available in Afghanistan. Huh? Alcohol, anything is there. It's just expensive.
Right.
But the hashish is free.
Yeah, but it really you have to really visit these places to really see what's actually going on, right? Because otherwise you
exactly.
Yeah, I mean places like Afghanistan, Iraq, maybe, right? Like, so it's a different.
When Iran is really beautiful. Iran is supposed to be a really beautiful country. It's just,
right.
I don't know, it's hard to trust mainstream media, man. So we should actually look into other sources. I think now the new generation is looking through other sources, not just the bloody television and what goes on in mainstream media. So they just put out what's news at the time, or how they can use it towards their advantage.
Yeah, so I remember meeting your old, I was lucky that I got into you guys when you had the original lineup, like Danushka, Samika, Asela. I remember Asela was like very quiet, right?
I was the quiet guy. He's the wisest guy in the band, Like
Right.
sometimes even when on tour we make this. Did you no? I think we should hold that a bit. Like he's like the calm force holding the extreme forces here, wanting to do all this stuff.
So Mirshad, what's the new lineup? Who's the new lineup? Your latest.
Asel and me are still from the old. Where are you guys? Then we have Harshan Galage, the drummer of Triloka.
All right.
And super drummer, man. He and Kasun Navaratna, the guitarist and composer in Genocide Shrines. He's also a producer. He was actually our sound engineer, our new guitarist, and now he plays guitar with us. So this is the unit now.
Right.
It's good. Lovely. We have a lot of fun.
I actually saw a couple of your videos, your like the newer performances of your video,
Yeah.
and then like I feel that you kind of transition from your like Kurt Cobain,
Yeah.
grunge to like maybe like Trent
Yeah.
Reznor, Marilyn Manson kind of performance.
Kind of the tape character, no?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so when I get on stage, it's basically like the talking character now is one, but when I get on stage, it's like another character takes over you. You know,
Right.
it has been there anyways, and now I think there is like a different person, guess, up there. So I keep all that madness on the stage without bringing it down after stage. There are times when suddenly that character stays off stage and there's too much. I need to. I think performers have that, right? You know, it's
Right.
like an act you perform. So yeah, that's the new trip. And yeah, now pretty much a lot of analog pedals. I'm playing a lot with soundscapes and stuff.
So, Mirshad, when did you discover this like Marilyn Manson? I mean, you really got into like Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch
Since I was a
Nails?
kid, since I was small, actually, I loved Manson. Was like my, I don't know, my dream. Like, you know, it was like my inspiration. Since I was very young, actually, it was like what Metallica and Marilyn Manson, my two M's. It was at the time. So Reznor, I discovered a bit later. It was a friend of mine who brought this. Even at the time before like digital, like we didn't have MP3s and stuff. It was basically, I think MP3s were there in the West, but it hadn't already come here. It was actually Asela, basically, he was the first guy who got MP3. And he was like, you know, I had the CD with so much music, you know, you all just have that much. So at the time, a friend of mine brought this CD of Trent Reznor. It was a picture of Trent Reznor, all pirated CDs, right? And John, this thing, Nine Inch Nails, it's a video, it's a live video CD. We put it and like we watch it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? You know? And then started looking for Nine Inch Nails, and then suddenly here goes the Nine Inch Nails trip. And I still love Nine Inch Nails. Yeah, Reznor is one of my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the Mars Volta. Bands like the At the Drive-In, you remember that band?
Yes.
I was not much into it, but my whole band at the time went to At the Drive-In, and I got into that later. And then now we listen to Mars Volta, and you know that's like a total different trip. But now, if you see, there's so much good music out there, man. I mean, I'd meet a kid somewhere, and then he'll start playing, or someone would come to my place, and they'll start playing their music, and I'm like, wow, who is this? What the fuck is this? And you know, write the name down, and I'm discovering new stuff. So sometimes when people come home, I just tell you, you will play your music, just play what you all want, and like, you know, we have sessions at our house, so people play. Times.
You remember that, like, I think it was last year, right? That Chris Cornell passed away.
Yeah, the suicide, right?
Yeah. Were you a fan of Chris Cornell Soundgarden?
I love Chris Cornell stuff. Yeah, like I do love the Soundgarden stuff. Yeah, that's also part. But yeah, but it was a sad thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then Chester Bennington also died.
Yeah, I think
it was a suicide.
Right? Yeah.
And there was a story that like Bennington and Cornell, they were all going to like throw this festival in like, you know, trying to bring a light of the whole Jeffrey Epstein drama that was happening. Right. There's a conspiracy like that. They said like, how did they suddenly die? They were trying to like, they were trying to establish a movement like to expose this guy. There was a story like that. I don't know how true it is, but that's like a small conspiracy theory.
Yeah. They were saying even the Linkin Park logo is like trying to expose like a pedophilia and all that, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories about it. Yeah. It's really sad why this, I mean, I don't know. It's this feeling that you get, no? The suicide feeling. So
it can happen to anyone, man.
Right.
One incident could throw you that way. Sometimes you would even feel that way, you know, if you're like depressed and, you know, things aren't working out, you know, like sometimes I've even gone through like points, you know, when I dropped a lot of stuff just to do music. And when music gets hard at some point, like, you know, not now, but in the past, you know, there are points you think, you know, what the fuck is happening? You know, what the hell am I doing here? You know, so you feel that, but then all you need to do is like, you just keep focus on the positive because what they say is you just basically, anyone out there has that depression stuff, you should analyze the problem and look from outside why you're feeling like this. There's an interesting book called 12 Rules for Life, Antidote to Chaos by this psychiatrist called Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. I know.
It's a good one. I'm halfway through that book, but anyways, it's pretty interesting, man.
Yeah, I have that also, the book.
Depression, anxiety. Welcome to the 30s and the 40s, you know. Some get it early, but stress and life. But life is good, man. There's so much. Yes. And cool, you're enjoying life. It's good. You have how's your kid, wife, like your family?
Yeah, they're good. My son is now 10 years old, turning 11.
Yeah, I'm updated. Like, you're taking for the gigs and yeah.
But
a lot of our friends.
Yeah, he's more into wrestling. Actually, he's more into wrestling. But he knows like Motorhead, Slayer. He likes those things because connected to wrestling.
Cool. Yeah. A lot of our friends have kids and all now, so next generation is on.
Yeah. So Mirshad, for me, like I was listening to your music, and then recently only I saw some of the new video that you put out, especially this Deaf, Blind and Dumb.
Deaf, Blind, Dumb. Yeah.
And I watched that. You know which video I remember when I watched your video, The Perfect Drug.
That was shot in 2 days actually. Actually, the guy who shot it was this guy called Travis Beard, who organized the Afghanistan festival. He became really good friends with me. So he came on a holiday, and like I told you, he stay at our place. He crashed here, and they said, okay, while I'm here, let's shoot a video. He said, let's do a video for your songs. Like I was like not in I was like, there was a transition in the band. I think members moved and we were trying to reconfigure stuff. And he's this spontaneous guy. You know, this guy called Travis Beard, a good friend of mine. Like he's even there as we landed in Afghanistan, he said, okay, let's do a gig now. Okay, let's quickly organize this now. Let's send a message out, get the sounds, do this, He's good at that stuff. Let's go find this. Let's get a TV. So one day we planned the video. Okay, it was really fast. And there were two friends of mine, like fans, they come for gigs. They told, okay, we'll model for it. We got them also on board, and then we all sat and we told everybody, okay, jam out the idea, this, that. And then we made this little storyboard, this line of them coming in with the TV and all that stuff. And then that was the first preparation. We had a full barbecue that day, got pasted as fuck. I don't know. Hungover the next day, we went looking for a television, like a broken television set. Right. And, my partner, my girlfriend, it was her mom's television set. And she had told, I have a TV, you can have it, it's for you. She didn't know that we took it to trash it. It was a working TV, man. It took so long to break. There were so many takes. They had the dashing part, took it so many times. The damn thing didn't break. That's how hard the old gear was, huh? Now, one screen, you do something, it's gone. So yeah, the band shot was done one day prior. Then the shot with the girls and the whole storyboard, and like another friend of mine also came from Kandy, the guy with near the martial arms.
Right.
So he plays the dictator. So we used everything we had in the house. This idea, let's quickly shoot it full, and yeah, we did it. We did it here actually, where I live.
I mean, it doesn't look like that you did it in that rush, because it looks like a very professional video.
Really? Oh, thanks. Thank you. So yeah, quick production, fast. Then he took it back to Aussie and he edited it. We did some change, and then we made the video.
Right.
Now we have to work on more videos. We haven't put a video yet. Yeah, so there's a lot of work. 7 songs will be released soon, so there'll be videos for that.
That's nice.
Now.
Yeah. So I also discovered your new songs, like First Family Planning and.
Yeah, that's like super fresh.
Yeah. And then I'm curious about this song, Fuck the Police.
Fuck the Police. Yeah, I know it's like the same tag as NWA, but it's a totally different song. But it's a lot of people seem to like that song actually. So it's basically about not just fuck the police, not mean like, fuck the police, like, fuck the police, they don't mean shit. We're actually talking about like the whole system behind the police. When
Right.
they're controlled by, like the whole thing, say, how do I talk about this? I mean, like, I've had friends who got busted with, weed and all that stuff. And, when people go in, when someone's busted with stuff, there's a whole network inside, that makes money out of it, profits out of it. And it's all connected, man. I mean, there was a bloody scandal here recently in Sri Lanka, if you see the news. So people in the whole, the Sri Lankan DEA, the narcotics unit, they've been like, there's been a scandal. Anyways, the whole thing is rigged, when it comes to stuff like drugs. But what I would say is, man, they should treat it like a medical problem, not a criminal problem. That's the only way you could have a solution to this whole thing. Because I think that's the future way you should look at it, because you can't control that shit, man. No matter how many restrictions go, the prices go up and the thing is already there. The only way to cut it is, like decriminalization and looking at it in a different way. This current way, it's just a fucking failure.
What did you think about this? What's happening like in the States about this police brutality and stuff, racism and stuff?
Now it's a reaction, I guess, for, well, let's say years and years of unfairness and oppression. And now, thanks to social media and stuff, things can easily get blown out of proportion. And in a way, there's a war between the left and the right. You have the radical leftists, going on one trip in the campuses. Then you have the right wing. That's another extreme. But the proper ways, I mean, you need the left and the right in order for any country to go forward. Like,
right.
The situation now, if I was like 15 years younger, I would be like, fuck, I would be on that trip. But now, I know the way I see it, it should be a middle ground on everything. Because America has a harsh history, right? And the most recent, closest thing to slavery and racism was in the continent of America. But if you go 300-400 years back, you come to Sri Lanka, there were slaves here. There were slaves everywhere. But now we are in a close, this is a transition of human, like, our species or whatever, like we are transitioning, we are towards a digital age. Knowledge is more. And at the same time, this old system is trying to hold the things, like the whole industrial age system, they're still holding on to it. It's all kind of, there's a change here. So I think all this chaos is happening for this change, this big change that's happening. And things like, say example, Black Lives Matter and like, all incidents that are happening, there are people on top controlling the damn thing. There are people who control the media, and there's another agenda right on top, then you have the banks, you have like the banking, the families that control the thing.
Right.
They are playing this game of chess here, man. It's just the people who are like, reacting to everything that goes on. And now it's the game of chess is a bit different, like to what it was. But change will, and it's like, when you look at history, now what's happening is tearing down statues. It's all like erasing history that has happened.
Right.
You go towards Iraq, tearing down Sumerian history. Religions have, like, there have been ancient religions, and then suddenly other religions have come, torn down their history, established that. Then, like, this is nothing to do with religion. But, history keeps erasing itself, don't you think? And now we have a recorded history of this. Imagine how much more history we don't really know because someone destroyed it long time ago.
Definitely, yes.
So, and let's just hope the world comes towards a better understanding. I think it's time that could only tell, man. And you have to change the education system as well.
But I think media actually, one of the biggest problem is media, because they make it a sensation, right? All the whatever happened incident. So what I actually done recently is I actually unfollowed all the media and anywhere like left and right and everything. So I don't really just get music and maybe a couple of memes and stuff. That's fine.
What I do is I'll check out like what the extreme right wing is saying. I'll watch his stuff. I'll read a bit about on the literature he would write. Then I check the extreme left and see on both sides what their whole story is. It's interesting to see like the whole dynamic of that.
Yeah,
when it comes to media, Donald Trump, man, he really knows how to provoke the bloody media. He say outrageous shit. You see, that's how intelligent that man is in that sense. He's just playing. He's playing with the media. He knows exactly how they're going to react, and he just says shit because he knows the dominoes that's going to happen next.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, he's a mess. He's just. This is how crazy the world is, man. And if you think about it, people have lost their faith in politicians. If you see in parts of the world, like here, like it's not politicians that are getting elected, right? Certain places, like bureaucrats, entrepreneurs, the whole thing of politics has got so corrupt that even people have lost trust in it. I mean, like sometimes you watch, like Sri Lanka now, there's so much of the bullshit they say on TV. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, and it's so sad that sometimes our like friends and people we know that they just get into this political mode and they just like
it's interesting to have a debate, right?
Yes,
okay, fine,
right.
you that, but don't take it from there. Even religion, like I really refrain on like people go argue, but like okay, fine, you'll have your thing, but there are certain interesting people I've had debates with, and like, they don't get angry. We have our own ideas, we exchange. Okay, this is how things are. This is the understanding that the world needs to have, man.
Yes.
Anything to a bloody extreme it doesn't work. Whether it be religion or politics, the extremes, bring into that, the yin yang, man, the middle fucking path,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, Mirshad, what do you do outside of music? Any hobbies and stuff? And what do you do at work? What as work?
Work-wise, I'm a professional graphic designer. Like I design books, branding, like brand campaigns. What do you call it? You have like stalls and pretty much creative in the creative scene. Then I was doing a sound rental business as well. I got myself a sound system. I was doing like that corporate events, then organizing rave parties in the jungle, like doing so. But last year I dropped a lot of my business, man. I just had to make this decision to focus on like doing the finishing up the Paranoid Earthling album, and because the whole thing was done by me, the production and stuff. So I had to actually study. That's why it took a long time, because I'm studying and I'm like trial and error, man. I record one round and see, okay, shit, there was shit here that has to be done. I'm reading about it. I'm studying about it, doing courses about it. So it was all this like whole studying, doing. Because a lot of the amps are all straight off the amp. Like there's less digital manipulation in our album. So it's very, I don't know, I try to keep the real factor in it. So, but it's interesting, Last year was a good year of education for me. So now with all this, I might start producing bands as well. Recently, I was studying mainly production. So now I'm into a bit of synthesizers. So there's some new music coming there, and like, yeah, that's the story. But designing is like how I keep, and sound rental, like sound stuff, it's how I keep the paycheck here to run the rent and all that shit.
Right.
So
what can we expect from Paranoid Earthling for 2020 and early 2021?
Album. I know you laugh. Everybody laughs. I've been saying that, but now I'm telling you with. I'm not going to give you the date or the time, that is, I can't tell you any date or anything, but that's been the complete product now. That's done. So that and like more gigs. So there'll be a vinyl coming out. So there'll be a vinyl disc. It's a 7-track piece. So.
Are you going to release your songs in digital platforms as well?
Yeah, working on that as well. So it'll be there on Apple, Spotify, the whole work. So actually, that's what I'm currently reading now, the whole launch of this and the preparation, the promotion, and we need to fund that as well to get the whole thing properly released, because this has been like a year, like how many fucking years, man?
This is like
started working on this in 2010.
It's like basically like the Tool album, right?
Huh? Yeah, Tool did it before us. They were fast. No, man, sometimes it takes time, art takes time, like sometimes you could rush and like put things fast. It takes time, it depends on the artist, and it depends on how things happen.
Yeah.
But now the whole technique is you have to keep putting content, and that's the method now.
Yes.
But I mean, art is varied, man. Art can come in different times, different time periods, different forms.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
so, so Mirshad, anybody you want to shout out to, Mirshad?
Shout out to, okay, now who am I thinking? Everybody. Shout out. Yeah, okay. Who do I shout out to? Shout out to everyone in the music scene. Every artist right now who are, just to hold on till this whole thing clears. Focus on a lot of new things. There's so much time on our hands to really, develop new skills and, plan and have a plan. Whatever you're doing, you have because I made a lot of mistakes on the way as well, with no plan. Do this, do that, make a big error. Like, have a solid plan. Like, even if you're doing music or art or, your career or whatever, have like this 5-year solid plans and think in the years, not just the time. Save every time you you make some save towards your goal and work hard on it, because now we live in a good time, man. You can do anything. You can do possibly anything and make it big in this world. We live in that amazing golden age. Oh, grotesque. That's an album.
Yeah.
Golden age. Is this the golden age of what? What's this golden age? Oh, we are in the digital age,
Yeah.
Golden age of war. Huh? Or rise to global, what do you call it? These are all proxy wars, digital proxy wars around the world. Whoa. I'm getting excited thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Mirshad, it was so nice to talk to you after,
thanks, man.
after so many years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to, your album.
Yep, I know.
Yeah, and then, yeah, so keep safe and let's
Thanks, you too.
put out the music so we can listen to them from here.
Yes. Lots of music coming, and hopefully, if I ever visit there, I want to come to Philippines, see what it's like.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
So, tell everyone how they can follow you and the band.
Our website is down at the moment, but it will be up. But you can follow us on our Instagram page and Facebook. There's a YouTube channel as well. So basically, at the moment, it's those three. The website is still under construction. We're working all for the album launch, so the artwork and all of that will be up. But currently, it's Instagram, Facebook, and our personal profile. Like my one is also running. So it's basically Facebook and Instagram and YouTube at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks, Mirshad. Thank you.
Okay, man. Thank you. Take care.
Take care.